The House has resumed. When the House was interrupted for the dinner break, it was considering the second reading of the Organised Crime and Anti-Corruption Legislation Bill. David Bennett was speaking and has 2 minutes and 15 seconds remaining to use if he so wishes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Annette, have you got a problem?
Too much.
Too much. Oh, that's Annette's problem. Well, it wasn't
Order.
too much.
Order.
Too much. What?
No, we won't do that. The member knows how to address other members in the House. He's been here quite a long time, and I'm just assuming he's acting in a deliberate manner.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And Mrs. Annette King said that it was too much before the speech had even started. But that was a shame. But before I left in the House before dinner time, I was talking about my Somali community in Hamilton, which is a fine community of people and had delivered a lot to our city. And that community often wants to transfer money back home to other members of their extended families and brothers and sisters and cousins that may be at home. And we just need to be mindful of that when we're doing legislation like this, because in countries like Somalia, there is no banking system. And so when my constituents wish to transfer money, they often have to transfer through a third destination like Dubai. And often that money is actually transferred to third parties that then will buy goods and services to transfer to the Somali community in Somalia itself. And I know that Mr. Speaker is also aware of this issue from his community as well, where it's a big issue there. And I just want people to be mindful of that when they look at legislation like this, so that we take into account those communities that have genuine needs for transfer of funds that aren't within the normal process of going through interbank transfers through two major banks that are in two developed countries. And often those transfers are seen as money laundering in a wider sense, because there isn't two recognised banks that are doing the transfer, when they do have quite a legitimate reason for doing it the way they do, and that's simply because the country doesn't have that ability to accommodate that system. So just wanting people to take that into account as this bill goes further, and thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. The contrary opinion will say no. The ayes have it.
Organised Crime and Anti-Corruption Legislation Bill, second reading.
This bill is set down for committee stage next sitting day. Call on Government Order of the Day number 3.